Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC lightweight division. And a special thank you to the Hammond Police Department. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, official weight 156 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 2 victories and no defeats, fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, by way of Hsinchu, Taiwan, Tom, the Status Quo. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, official weight 155 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 3 victories and no defeats, from Chicago, Illinois, Gustavo Perez. And your referee in charge is Rob Hines.
Rob Hines, our third man inside the octagon. Taiwan's Quo taking on Chicago, Illinois' Gustavo Perez. Both gentlemen undefeated. David, I want to highlight again the 9-year age differential. Gustavo, the elder. We get going. Quo versus Perez, our featured prelim at APFC X.
Quo coming out with a lot of bounce on the step, just looking to just inch forward and land his strikes. Good teep to the body there by Quo.
Perez already meets the canvas, just trying to zombie his way into the pocket, David.
Perez in on that single leg. I mean, Quo was throwing some heat. Great job making the adjustment there by Perez. Barely missed a shot coming in. Now he has Quo's back against the cage, working against that single leg, looking to maybe get his opponent down to the ground.
Oh, Quo trying to rip that left hook off the break.
Great job striking there by Quo off of the break. You don't really see that too often. That's how you know he's educated in his approach to striking.
Speed advantage definitely in Taiwan's Tom Quo's favor. Beautiful leg kick there from him.
I think Quo's comfortable just sitting on the outside, picking his shots.
Gustavo Perez is telegraphing those takedown attempts all the way from Los Angeles.
Now we see Quo making the adjustment there, like he was going over the top at first. Now he's looking to maybe set up that uppercut as Perez comes in on the inside.
Just under 2 minutes to go. Quo taps him once again with a shot. Perez with a thudding leg kick.
Perez throwing that leg kick without throwing any punches. That's a little dangerous there, and that's how you get caught coming in. Now he's getting back to his grappling game.
Tom Quo with a crafty head kick. Goes back to the well. 90 seconds left in round 1, and Tom, the Status Quo, is setting the bar high.
Quo has a great striking rhythm, just a fighting rhythm with it of itself. Throwing punches off of the strikes, keeping his range, keeping his distance, has a good bounce to him. Man, I think any minute he can land something big.
Gustavo Perez slinging sledgehammers, but it is going to take a little bit more finesse to take out Tom Quo.
He needs to set up that shot. Just diving in, you're liable to just run into a knee, an uppercut. It's dangerous. And I like his grit, wanting to just get to his opponent, but we have to be smarter about that.
Tom Quo punishing him at range with these kicks, creating a danger zone that Gustavo Perez is just getting torn up in. Oh, there's a shot from Gustavo.
Big shot by Perez. Telegraphed it just a little bit.
Massive right from Quo.
Stinging right hand by Quo. Did a great job of not rushing in afterwards. He's able to maintain his distance and his reach. If anything, Gustavo has that dog in him, Ben.
Absolutely, the durability for Gustavo Perez. No quit for Chicago, Illinois native, but 15 seconds left. Tom Quo, beautiful uppercut on the inside and a right hand. Gustavo hurt.
Perez in on the shot. I was a little worried because he's been leading with his head on those takedowns. I mean, I thought he could run into something. He did run into a right hand at one point. However, now he's where he wants to be, with Quo down, taking us back at the end of this round.
A legendary first round already between these two undefeated lightweights. Tom, the Status Quo, just ripping him up at range, David.
Ben, I cannot hear myself talk after that first round.
Here's the replays from it. Tom, the Status Quo, piercing right hand over the top. David Evans, I mean, he is just too good.
Man, yeah, just really layered with his striking and not rushing into anything. He's been really picking his shots here, left hook. But however, Perez always had an answer, whether it's just grit or the takedown. Ended that round on top where if you're a judge, that's the last thing you see is Perez on top. I mean, that could help sway the scorecards.
Tom, the status quo has not been outside the first round since April of 2023. Cardio will be potentially the question after the volume that both guys tossed out there.
Not only the volume, but dealing with the pressure that Perez is putting on. I mean, Perez is taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. But when you are beating someone technically from point to point and they just keep coming forward, that's a different kind of pressure, Ben.
If that head kick connected, it could have been lights out for Gustavo Perez. Rob Hines gets us situated for round number 2. Tom, the status quo, trying to put some exclamation points on this one.
Well, coming out a little more measured here in this second round, and it looks like Perez kind of has a little bit more energy, possibly because of how that round ended.
Once again, the leg kick from Quo, and going back to it, Gustavo just reaching out, trying to maintain contact.
He has to keep his hands up. I think as you get antsy in a fight, you just want to put your hands on your opponent. But, I mean, the first principle in fighting is hands up, chin down.
Tom Quo doing a great job framing here, fighting for the underhooks, but Perez just a creature inside the phone booth.
And this is where the mixed martial arts competition ends and the fight starts. Perez is a fighter through and through.
Oh, Tom Quo got hurt! Gustavo Perez now all over the status quo.
Quo doing a good job of scooting out the back door there. However, Perez was answering. Beautiful, beautiful scramble. Nobody wants to give an inch in this one.
Even fight for both gentlemen. Gustavo Perez finding a way now again on the takedown.
Perez doing a better job finding a rhythm with his takedown and not rushing into him. He's waiting, 2, 3 transitions into a stanza to throw the shot, and he's not just going in head first, and I think that's going to have him be more successful going forward.
Look at how slick Tom Quo is, just getting out of these positions and finding his way back to the feet. 90 seconds to go in round number 2. Another leg kick from Quo.
It's not only being slick, but he's not panicking even in bad positions, so he's always able to see an opening. Good position here by Perez. Taking the back of Quo, looking for the neck right away, but I want to see him settle before he makes any other adjustments, because if you don't lock that position down, you're liable to lose it, and now Quo's back in the fight.
Just over a minute. It is wet and wild here. Each guy just slipping around. The right eye of Tom Quo seems to be seriously impacted by some of those Gustavo Perez shots. Tom Quo might be fighting a little injured.
Perez just marching forward, man. I don't think he cares who's winning or losing. He just cares about moving forward and making progress, and that is draining Quo mentally.
Tom Quo taking some shots here. 40 seconds left. Perez with a handcuff on that far side. This Hammond crowd is getting loud.
Word to Khabib there with that handcuff. Perez just laying down heat from on top, looking to get that boot in and settle in to that backpack position on Quo.
20 seconds to go. Can Gustavo Perez choke out Tom Quo?
He has the rear naked choke. However, Quo doing a good job of pushing the elbow up here. Attacking top hands. He's not going to go away that easy.
Final 10 seconds. Perez putting all of his might into this submission. Tom Quo survives.
Wow.
What a battle here in Hammond between the status quo and the zombie Gustavo Perez.
You talk about suspense. I mean, I think that was the longest 10 seconds I've ever seen. We have Quo throwing the dynamic strike. However, Perez following up with that big right hand and sitting Quo to his butt and just ended up in a dominant position on top. Another angle here, big right hand, let left even glance Quo on the way in. I didn't see that initially. Perez is just sticking to his game plan, moving forward, just breaking down Quo slowly but surely. Dominant positions on top. We saw him with the wrist, just looking to land big right hands. I think he took a lot out of Quo in that one, Big.
It's just debilitating, I'd imagine, having someone restrict every action you try to make to get back to your feet. like you said, it's a fight. Now we get to figure out who these two gentlemen are.
And that's the thing about a fight. Quo is doing everything technically right. However, Perez is like trump card, prison rules. This is going to be a fight, not an MMA competition.
Tom, the status quo, and Gustavo Perez, third and final round. This action brought to you by F3 Energy, and we're seeing a considerable slowdown in striking from both.
I'm going to say it's 1-1 right now. This is the round here. If Perez continued to do what he's been doing, we can see him walking out with a bit of an upset here in the APFC cage.
And Tom Quo just trying to fight off from being broken, I would say, mentally.
It doesn't take much to break someone. I think Perez, what he's doing, his approach is more position over anything. Position over submission, position over strike. And him solidifying positions has given him the upper hand, no pun intended, in these back and forth.
Tom Quo breaking the body lock, trying to transition and spin around, but Perez just on the hips. Now dragging Quo around.
Perez in a good position here. However, in that backpack position, he needs to get his hips a little more involved. I think Quo's a little more defeated because of the position in the macro. However, in the micro, you want to, when you get those boots in, you want to make that as uncomfortable as you can for your opponent on bottom. I think Perez is just kind of hanging on, as he should think more about applying pressure with his hips there and bowing his opponent's hips.
Tom Quo not making it easy, but Gustavo Perez doing his best to flatten him out and rain down some shots now in full mount with 90 to go.
I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Perez got that dog in him, man, and that's carried him through this fight. And I mean, we have everyone in here standing on their feet just excited for whatever may come here in this next minute 15.
What does Tom Quo need to do to get back to his feet?
If you're Tom Quo, one, protect yourself because you don't want to get caught with a big shot and it's not looking good for him. But he just needs to get up. He needs to move. He's worried too much about where Perez is coming from next, and he's not thinking where he needs to go next. And he's just giving into the position. I think he's more so accepted this bottom position, more so than he even has to.
Seems like the cardio is now working against the status quo. Rob Hines was taking a close look a moment ago. Gustavo Perez, meanwhile, captures the back once again and is hunting for the rear naked choke.
Perez is just attacking from everywhere, attacking the neck, attacking with the strikes, attacking with the boot position there, looking to transition, get on top, nice ab there. Possibly look for him to transition to an arm bar. No, he's gonna look to go through the back.
Tom Quo is just too tired to explode out of these positions like he did in round number one. And Gustavo Perez taking full advantage, 10 to go. And we have an upset here in Hammond, David.
I think Perez can phone home a win here. I'm extremely impressed by his grit more than anything. He is not the prettiest fighter. He's not the technical fighter, but he is a fighter nonetheless.
Gustavo Perez battled young through all of the challenges life could throw at him, and now likely getting the hand raised and cracking the undefeated record of the status quo.
Great sportsmanship there by Perez, looking to shake his opponent's hand immediately. I mean, this is what we saw all night for the most part. You know, Perez looking to get to the grappling juncture of this, looking to pressure. Right here, that backpack position is where he essentially spent 2 rounds just looking to lock up his opponent's wrist, looking to land strikes, and just dominate his opponent positionally.
We have a new star here in Hammond. The first decision of Gustavo Perez's career. And while we may talk about defensive responsibility and keeping the chin off the center line, everything else, I mean, marks for him.
That is the beautiful thing about this sport. That's the beautiful thing about the cage and the nature of what this sport is. On any given day, a star can be born. I think Perez came in here. He wasn't looking to prove anything. He knew what he had in himself, and he just wanted the world to see it. And APFC, we saw it tonight.
We send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen to find out the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. The judges scored the contest 29-27, 29-28, and 29-27. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Gustavo Perez.
Impressive grit and will to win. Still undefeated is Gustavo Perez as he locks up Tom Quo's undefeated record. And to Tom Quo tonight, right? Such a young guy, 22 years. I'm sure he'll bounce back from this in a big way.
There's nothing that Quo did wrong during that fight. I think the only thing, that you could say is he just accepted that bottom position and, the cardio is in question. However, there was nothing he did and everything that Perez did correctly. The grit, the pressure, and just that domineering mindset pulled him through the night.
Gustavo Perez donning a Mexico jersey. Reminds me, May 25th, fight Fiesta. David Evans. Don't want to miss that APFC event.